What's up, this is Tom with Elevating WordPress. In this video I'm going to show you how to rank your WordPress site higher in Google. So I wanted to start by saying this, I teach an SEO class in Chicago for Ascend Training, and they're an Adobe certified training center. It's a 2-day class, and basically I'm going to show you all the things that are included in this class, only they're going to be specific to WordPress. So I actually specialize in WordPress SEO. If you Google like WordPress SEO services or any of those types of keywords, I'm usually ranked in the first couple of results. So there I am, Online Media Masters, WordPress SEO Consultant. I think I'm one behind Yoast, or I'm number 3 right here. But I do a lot of WordPress SEO work, and I'm not trying to promote my services. I really just want to make sure that you guys have faith in what I'm going to show you, because it does work. So here is all the work that I've done for other people. You know, you can see the Google Analytics graphs. I've done a lot of local SEO, so I'll cover how to rank higher in Google Maps. I do a lot of, here's some posts about the tutorials I wrote. I do a lot of WordPress speed optimization, so if you want to make your website load faster, I'll cover that. And I'm also Google Analytics certified. But a lot of, I've written a lot of tutorials that I'm going to be referring to. So for example, Yoast is a big part of WordPress SEO, and I wrote a tutorial on configuring the settings, and this one has 153 comments. So you can see a lot of people have used these guides to improve their SEO. So I finally decided to make a video about it, so anyone can do it. And really anyone can do it. I'm going to be going through step-by-step instructions. I did create a free SEO workbook. I will include the link in the video description, as well as timestamps if you want to jump through the certain sections. But this is about a 180-page PDF. It's completely free, and it's basically an outline of everything I cover in my SEO class. So I created a summary of things that I'm going to be going over. We're going to configure Yoast SEO plugin settings with Webmaster Tools. We're going to identify your focus keywords. So if you ever use the Yoast SEO plugin, focus keywords, you basically choose, learning your keywords. We're going to be using tools like Google Autocomplete and Moz Keyword Explorer for that. We're going to optimize your content for those keywords, which basically means the first step is to make sure you have the content to target those keywords, since a general rule is 1 keyword per page. So I'll cover, how to match the keywords with your content. I'm going to show you how to improve content optimization through Yoast. They used to have like a page analysis tab, if you're familiar with that, but that is the bare minimum of content optimization. So I'm going to show you how to improve engagement with videos, infographics, improve the design of your content, and the on-page SEO elements. I'm going to brief on, improving website design and structure, permalinks, internal linking. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to make your WordPress site load faster through cache plugins, image optimization, lightweight themes, faster hosting, things like that. I'm going to show you how to optimize for Google Maps, and I'm going to show you how to optimize your videos. I'm going to use a YouTube video as an example for search engines. We'll become familiar with Google's ranking factors. Moz does a study every 2 years on Google's ranking factors, and they can basically be divided into local and national ranking factors, so I'll cover those. And then we'll review Google's ranking factors and spend time on high priority items. So instead of worrying about keyword density or anything like that, I'm going to show you where to invest your time. And then I'm going to do an overview of Google Analytics, which is going to be brief, but I'll show you some cool things you can do with it. And then I'll provide you with a list of tools. So I'm going to include a lot of links in this video description. So be sure to check there, as well as the timestamps. Like I said, you can jump to certain sections. I did include some affiliate links in or I will include some affiliate links in the video description. Basically, I'm going to refer you to some products. You don't have to buy them, but if you do, I'll get a commission off the sale, and that will go straight to Navient for student loans, rest assured. But I would really appreciate it if you do decide to use these products to use my affiliate link. Thank you ahead of time. So I'm just going to jump right into it. We're going to start by configuring Yoast SEO plugin settings with Webmaster Tools. So I'm going to go ahead and log into my website. We'll do Online Media Masters for this one. So go into your WordPress site, and if you don't have Yoast already, if you're using another SEO plugin, you can actually use their tools to import the settings from your old SEO plugin into Yoast. But Yoast is definitely the best SEO plugin out there, so if you don't have it, I would definitely recommend migrating from whatever SEO plugin you're using to Yoast. And this is where you would import, your all-in-one plugin SEO settings or whatever plugin you're using. So now we're going to go through these different tabs. You're going to want to start at the dashboard, and I'm just going to walk you through the same settings I use. So you can go to General, there's nothing. Company Info, you're just going to want to fill in your website name right here. Whether you're a company or a person, your company name, and then your company logo should be at least 200 by 200 pixels. Go ahead and save those. Go to Webmaster Tools, and I probably shouldn't be showing you this, but that's alright. So we're going to want to set up Google Search Console is the most important, Bing Webmaster Tools, and Yandex. So all of these are the same process. You can click these links and go to just sign up for Webmaster Tools. You're basically going to add a website, and then you're going to come to a verification process like you see now. So I've already verified it, but you're going to want to use the HTML file upload, or sorry, HTML tag. That's the one. So you're going to want to copy this right here, and then go back into Yoast, and this is where you would paste it, but you want to delete everything outside the quotations. So we're going to delete that, and we're going to delete that, then we're going to save it. So the exact same process can be used for Bing and Yandex Webmaster Tools. So once you save that, it's going to take some time for Google Search Console and the other tools to crawl your website and update with errors. So I would honestly give it maybe like a week is ideal to get at least some data on your website, but it will take some time, just to let you know. On-page SEO indexability check, you can disable that. That tool is pretty much useless. And then once you're done configuring the Webmaster Tools, you can go ahead and save it. The next step is security. So I usually just leave this enabled, the advanced part of the Yoast SEO meta box. That is if we go to a page or post, we'll just do one of these. So if you scroll down to Yoast, the Yoast SEO meta box is, right here, the advanced part. So this gives you the ability to, no index or no follow certain pages or blog posts. But unless you gave your WordPress site out, or people don't know what they're doing in your WordPress site, you can just leave that enabled. So that's it for the dashboard. Then we're going into titles and metas. So force rewrite titles. If you go to your website, and you hover over the browser tab right here, sometimes the company name, so the website name is Online Media Masters, sometimes the company name can appear twice in your title tag right here. So if you see your company name twice, then checking the force rewrite titles option should fix that. That's actually not the preferred way to do it though, for website speed reasons. Yoast actually recommends against this, but I do have an alternative that the same thing that Yoast recommends. So force rewrite titles. You would actually go into your header.php, then delete everything between the title and the title right here, and replace it with this code. So again, you would go to my Yoast tutorial to get that code. I'll leave a link in the video description. But that's what you would do instead of the force rewrite titles for website speed reasons. And I left a link where Yoast recommends not to do that if you want to learn about it, but I figure hopefully my word is enough. So like I said, that'll check the duplicate site names in your title tag right here if you have it. If you don't, then you don't need to worry about it. The title separator is where, so if I have Chicago SEO consultant for WordPress websites, the title separator is what's going to separate these are basically templates of the title tags. So for my posts, I have the post title separator Tom Dupuis. So that's what that separator character is going to do. It's going to use whatever character you set to separate your title tags. And by the way, the title tags, if you Google like WordPress, I'll just do this as an example, but the title tags, also known as the SEO titles in Yoast, are these right here. And these are the meta descriptions. I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but you need to know that when configuring the settings. So that's what the title separator does. The readability analysis, honestly, I don't really find this that helpful. You can enable it if you want, but I pay more attention to the keyword analysis that you should definitely have enabled. So go ahead and save changes when you're done, and then we'll go to the home page. So if you have a widgetized home page, you might see an option to fill in the home page's title tag and meta description right here. So just keep in mind when doing content optimization that this is where you would edit your home page's title tag and meta description, or you'll see a link where you can edit that. The post types. So this is going to give the title template and meta description template for the posts. I just have it as this. You can do title separator and then your company name, whatever that is, and then do excerpt right here. Meta robots means we want to index. That just means whether something is indexed or not. So we definitely want to index our blog post, so that's indexed. Date snippet and a date and snippet preview will hide. The Yoast SEO meta box is where you're going to the recommendations that tells you how to optimize the content, so we definitely want to show that. Pages, pretty much the exact same thing with the excerpt. We want to index these, no date, and we definitely want the Yoast SEO meta box. For media, you can use this. By the way, this is the site name template. So this is a really good template that you can use for anything. It just has the title, separator, and then your site name. Meta robots, I have these index, date, and the snippet preview will hide. Yoast SEO meta box, we don't need that for your pictures or anything, so we can hide that. I use affiliate links on some of my blog posts, but I don't want those indexed, and I don't want to optimize. You can't even optimize those, so I don't need any of this. You may see some other things, but that's how you do it. You would basically use these templates which are called variables, to customize the template of your SEO title and meta description. Just keep in mind that these are the templates. So this assumes that if you don't fill in your SEO title, that it's going to use this format. But you can always use, and usually you should write a custom SEO title for each of your pages and posts, as well as your meta description. You should always write a custom meta description. So I'll cover that in a little bit in the content optimization soon. So next we're going to go to taxonomies. We're going to configure the categories with term title, separator, site name. We will index these, and you can optimize your category pages, especially if you have a ton of posts under those categories, but these aren't really that helpful, and a lot of times it's a waste of time to even optimize these. But you can if you want, as preference. The tags are the same template. I do not want to index these, and I don't want the SEO meta box to show because I'm not going to optimize my tags to rank higher. Basically, it's really just the pages and blog posts that you want to optimize. Link categories, no indexed, no SEO meta box. So go ahead and save changes and then go to the archives, and then you can use this format, author profile of name at site name. But I would disable the author archives and the meta robots because this can give you duplicate content, which is a big no-no in SEO, so I would just disable and no index these. I don't have anything filled out for data archives because I have no index. Disabled, meta robots, no index. Special pages, the search pages, so if you have a search bar on your website, or the search page, that's the template I use. For the 404 pages, if people can't find a page and it's a broken link or something, that's the template I use. And then go to the other tab and go to subpages of archives. So if you have, page 2, page 3, and I want people to find page 1, not page 2, so I have these no indexed. Meta keywords are useless. Google stopped using these years ago, so you can disable them. The force, I don't even know how to pronounce that, meta robots tag site-wide. You can enable this. It prevents search engines from using the DMOZ description. DMOZ is like an old-fashioned directory long ago. I don't know how relevant it is now, but I wouldn't even worry about that. I would just keep this enabled. Next, go to Social tab. The Social tab is a lot easier. You just fill in all your profiles right here. Go to Facebook and definitely make sure this Open Graph metadata is enabled. So if you share a post on Facebook, you know that thumbnail image that shows up? So that's what the Open Graph metadata does. So if you edit a post and go into Yoast and click the share option right here, you can see you can give a custom Facebook image. So when this certain page is shared on Facebook, this image is going to override everything else, and it's going to show whatever image I specify. But I'm going to get that in a little bit. Just make sure that in Yoast, I probably should include an image URL to be realistic. So if for some reason that messes up, this is, you can include your logo right here. If all the images don't work, then your logo would display. I don't really use this, but you can if you want. The Facebook Insights and Admins. Then go to Twitter and pretty much do the same thing. Enable the metadata. I do a summary with large image. Pinterest. Here is a link to confirm your Pinterest account. So basically that allows, you're going to want to add your website to Pinterest. You're going to need to verify your profile. So you can just Google that. Basically, you're going to do a similar process like the Webmaster Tools, and you're going to get a code. You're going to enter it here and then save it. For Google Plus, you would just enter your Google Publisher page, which is, your Google Plus page. For XML sitemaps, you can click here to see your sitemap, which we'll use in a little bit once we get into Webmaster Tools. But you can go to User Sitemap. You can copy the same settings I use, but users without posts, you definitely want to not include those. If you want to include certain people in your sitemap, like administrator, editor, you can choose that. So once you're done, go ahead and save changes. Post types. I definitely want posts in my sitemap because I write a lot of blog articles and I definitely want those in there. Same thing with pages. Media I do not have in sitemap. And affiliate links I do not have in sitemap. Excluded posts, I want all my posts to show up, so I don't have anything here. Taxonomies. I do have categories in my sitemap, do not have tags or link categories in my sitemap. If you go to advanced, you can basically copy these settings. Breadcrumbs, I don't have them, but if you ever go to a page, I know Yoast has them on their website, and you see like home, arrow, work, or whatever the page title is called. It has a little arrow. It's basically for navigation, but I just don't have them enabled because it kind of clutters up the page, but it can help Google learn about your site structure. So if you want to enable those, you will also need to add a line of code. Yoast has a tutorial of that. If you just Google how to enable breadcrumbs, you can find Yoast tutorial. They have a better one than I do. But you can also copy my settings right here. I'll just show you what the breadcrumbs also help with. So these are the breadcrumbs. Instead of showing the permalink, it actually shows like an arrow and then software, and so yeah. So you can copy the same settings here. Then we're going to go to Tools. So the bulk editor is a very handy tool. When we get into writing custom SEO titles and meta descriptions, like I said, the things that appear in Google search results, you can bulk edit these right here. So you can see that you can bulk edit the titles, or you can bulk edit the descriptions. So this is especially important because you can go through all your meta descriptions. Remember, these are these things right here that appear in search results, and you can bulk edit these. So this is super important. This is really the front line of your SEO. This is the first thing people see, and this determines if people will click on your link. So you really want to write these not only to include your keyword, but to entice people why they should click on your link, and give them a really good description. So this is where you would edit it. You can just write the new one there. But yeah, the bulk editor is definitely handy. And I don't use the file editor. Like I said, you can import import settings from other SEO plugins, or export your settings and use them on multiple websites if you own multiple websites. And then we're going to go into the Search Console section. So I already have it set up, but you're going to basically want to authenticate Google Search Console with Yoast. And it's a really easy step. All you do is, I think you just click a link, grab a code from Yoast, and then paste it here, and then save. Like I said though, it will take time, especially if you just set up Google Search Console. It will take time for this to populate. So check back once it's done populating, but these are where you can find your crawl errors. And these are basically like broken pages on your website. and what you want to do is set up redirects. So if you look at this and say, okay, this is an old URL that no longer exists, I want to redirect this to the most appropriate page on my website, so at least it's not a 404 page or a broken link or anything like that. You can go through the smartphone and feature phone tabs, but that's it for the Yoast settings. They do have extensions for the premium, allows you to set multiple focus keywords. I don't use it. I don't really see the reason to use it, but it does come with support. So that can be helpful, especially if you're just beginning. Video SEO, I don't think it's worth the money. Google stopped showing as many videos in their search results, and plus if you do video SEO, basically if you Google something and you see a video snippet right here like you would, and if you Google like a how-to, how to do something in Photoshop, you'll probably see like videos right here. So that helps with that, but I would not recommend the video SEO plugin. News SEO helps you get in Google News. Local SEO does not really help you rank higher in Google Maps. It adds schema, and basically you can use another plugin, the schema.org plugin, for free, which does the same thing, and you don't have to pay for these. So that is the Yoast settings, and the next step is to identify focus keywords. If you go to a page or post on your website, we'll just do this as an example. And you scroll all the way down into the Yoast section. You can see a spot where you can select a focus keyword, and this is the phrase that you want to optimize that specific page or post for. So you really do not want to guess this out of the blue. This requires research, and you want to know the exact phrase that people are searching so you have a better chance of ranking high. What you want to first do is go to google.com, and I like to use the Chicago photographer example. So if we're a Chicago photographer and we have a bunch of different photography services, we can use this underscore character, and we can see all the different types of photography services that people are searching. Wedding, newborn. If newborn and baby are the same thing, then you only need to include that keyword once. So don't think because you see different variations of the same phrase, like wedding photographer in Chicago and Chicago wedding photographer, you really just want to include Chicago wedding photographer and just include it once. But that is how you get ideas. You can use this anywhere, so you can have, you can even do blank photographer in Chicago and make sure you always end on the underline. So then you can get ideas from that. And it's a matter of playing around with different variations of the phrase and checking to make sure that you're not missing out on keywords and that you're selecting the best ones. So that's a really good place to start. I do want to note that if you're targeting a small town like Lake Bluff, then the keywords are going to be broad. So Lake Bluff photographer, you can see it's a broad keyword. People are just searching for photographer. But as you get into a larger city like Chicago, that's when you're going to have more specific phrases like Chicago wedding photographer, newborn, and so forth. And it makes sense since there's a lot more people in Chicago, so there's going to be a lot more searches. And generally the rule is higher population, more searches means your keywords are going to be more specific. But that is for if you're doing a localized SEO. For national SEO especially, you want to do some some research on the competition. So if I try to optimize for SEO consultant, I'm never going to rank for that. I'm going to be competing, I already know, I don't even have to Google it, I'm going to be competing with every other SEO consultant, so I'm never going to rank for that. And that's kind of why I chose to specialize in WordPress, because it still shows up in Google autocomplete, and it's still being searched for. So it's definitely not being searched for as much as SEO consultant, but it still has a good amount of searches. And that's called a longer tail keyword. A longer tail just means more specific. So if you're optimizing for some keywords and they're really broad and you're not ranking for them, the first step I would do is try to make it more specific and more long tail. Because the long tail keywords bring a much more targeted visitor to your website. So instead of just SEO consultant, I know these people are using WordPress, and that's exactly who I want to bring to my site. So it brings a more targeted visitor, and it's much less competitive. So that is Google autocomplete. Another handy tool is Moz Keyword Explorer. And we can just type, I would start with a broad phrase like Chicago photographer. And I would definitely check autocomplete, but also check Moz Keyword Explorer, because this can show you keywords that do not show up in autocomplete. So you don't really want to miss out on any phrases. You can see portrait photographer is here, model photographer was not in autocomplete, but it's here. And it gives you the estimated volume. And it also has a lot of nifty tools like only include keywords with all the query terms, related to keywords with similar results pages. So if you want to like group similar keywords, you can do that in this tool, so you don't see a bunch of repetitive phrases. But this does make sure that you don't miss out on any phrases. So I did cover keyword competition. In addition to finding the obvious phrases like Chicago wedding photographer, we can also see that wedding photographer Chicago prices shows up. So you might want to add a page on your website that outlines your prices and optimize for that. And if we do a fill in the blank right here, we can see Indian wedding photographer in Chicago. So you can add a page on your website about that. It would not be the same page as the wedding photographer because they're different, very different keywords. Someone searching for Indian wedding photographer wants content about Indian weddings. Gay wedding photographer, affordable, is just an adjective. You can, any like professional or affordable or any of those types of phrases you can ignore. But yeah, if you see any blog post keywords, like people are searching just for like information, like average cost of wedding photographer in Chicago, then that would be a good blog post keyword to write about. And just keep in mind, the service pages are obviously promoting your services, but the informational keywords, people really don't want to go to a page and just see you promote yourself everywhere. So make it more informative and useful for your visitor. So after you figure out your keywords, I would definitely make a keyword list. And if you're not confident with your keyword list, I would talk to an SEO about it, but that is a critical step because that helps determine the content that goes on your website. One other thing, so say Chicago wedding photographer is our main keyword, and that's basically like one of the main phrases we want to rank for. You would target your main keyword on your home page because your home page is the most powerful page on your website usually. So just keep in mind your home page is usually, if you're targeting one main keyword, definitely target it on your home page. So that concludes the focus keywords. And now once we do that, we're going to want to add content targeting those keywords and optimize it using Yoast SEO plugin, videos, design, all that good stuff. So optimize or add content targeting those keywords. This is basically what I just went over. Targeting similar keywords, like I said, average like wedding photographer in Chicago or Chicago wedding photographer, those are the same thing. So that's what I mean by, don't include all those in your keyword list, just list Chicago wedding photographer. But you do want a separate page for each keyword. So like I said, you wouldn't target wedding photographer on one page and then also try to optimize it for Indian wedding photographer, because people are looking for specifically Indian wedding photographer. So that's pretty simple. The next step is to improve content optimization through Yoast, videos, design, and on-page SEO. I just want to note that Yoast is not the only thing to content optimization. Improving your design and the engagement with your visitor is really what it's all about. You want to create useful content. It's not all about keyword stuffing, that's long gone. Now it's about improving the engagement through videos. So Google can actually measure, once they go to your page, how long are they spending on that page. And if they go to your page and then they click away from it, that's called a bounce, without viewing any other pages. Or if they go there really quick and then just exit, that's not good. You want people to click on a video or click on a link. You want people clicking around and engaging with your website, and videos is a huge part of that, and infographics are really good. That will definitely increase that time on page, which is really what you're trying to do. You're trying to give visitors as much value as you can. So just keep that in mind, that keywords and writing meta description and everything, it's good, but it's all about improving your content value. So I will go over Yoast. I'll do a page on my website. I'll just do SEO friendly WordPress themes, which is or I'll do WordPress SEO consultant, just because I know I had success with that, and that's a page. So go to the page you want to optimize. So WordPress SEO Consulting, I have it in my page title, I have it in my URL. But we're going to want to set your keyword as the focus keyword. And once you do that, Yoast is going to come up with this content analysis section. But I will go over what you need to pay attention to and a few things that you don't need to pay attention to. So other than the basic things like giving yourself a page title with the keyword, using your permalink, your keyword in the permalink, you want to make sure you include the keyword in the first couple sentences of your site, and then also in your image alt text. So basically all that means is if you have an image on your site that describes WordPress SEO consulting and it makes sense for that image, then you can optimize it for it. But if you don't, then you don't want to keyword stuff. You just want to label your image as whatever it describes. So all you do to optimize your image is before you upload it to WordPress, just make sure the file name on your computer is labeled however you want it to, whatever describes the image. And WordPress will automatically set, at least if you're using the visual editor right here, WordPress will automatically set the alt text for that. So like I said though, just don't keyword stuff in your alt text. You really just want it. I don't understand why people get so specific and weird with that, but just make sure the alt text describes the image. Don't keyword stuff in it. So generally you want to include it maybe 2 to 3 times in your content body, and the keyword doesn't have to be always exact. So like the whole wedding photographer in Chicago and Chicago wedding photographer, you can use variations of that phrase, but the problem is that when you do that, Yoast will not detect it. Yoast only detects exact keyword matches. So if you use like SEO consultant for WordPress, Yoast is not going to recognize that as a keyword, and they're going to tell you your keyword density is 0%. But even though it's there. So that's why if you include variations, which is actually encouraged, you shouldn't just use the same keyword over and over usually. You can actually ignore this since the keyword is actually there. So this is called the snippet. This is what appears in search results. So instead of just WordPress SEO consultant Tom Dupuis, I decided to add Yoast expert just because I know a lot of people who search for a WordPress SEO consultant want someone who knows about Yoast. And that is kind of how I like to stand out in search results. So if you Google your keyword and every other person uses the keyword in their title tag, you really want to do something to stand out in your SEO title right here. So that's just mine. If you go over, make sure you just follow the character limit though. If you go over, Yoast will tell you in red. I have the slug, which is the permalink right here. And then you want to write a nice meta description. So I say if you need a WordPress SEO consultant who can set up Yoast, make other optimizations, and grew SEO traffic by 300 visitors a day in 3 months, I'm your guy. So I think that's pretty good. But the gist is that I have the keyword in my meta description, and I give people a reason to click on my link. So we'll go back to the analysis tab. So we went over the focus keyword doesn't appear in the first paragraph of the copy. It actually does. I just use a variation of it, so it's not picking it up. Keyword density is 0%. A general rule is to use your keyword maybe 2 to 3 times in the content body, once in the beginning, but like I said, variations are okay even if Yoast doesn't detect it. Images do not have alt attributes contain the focus keyword. I don't have any images on this page that describe WordPress SEO consultant, so I'm not going to keyword stuff, and you shouldn't either. You have not used this focus keyword in any subheading such as the H2. So a lot of people use, if you use subheadings, you have your H1, which is the page title, and then the subheadings. You don't need to stuff keywords in your subheadings. It actually looks really spammy, and I would ignore that and just label them however they should be written. The focus keyword does not appear in the URL for this page. So I actually did a WordPress SEO consulting instead of consultant. So that's why it's not picking it up. But I can assume that it's actually in the keyword. It's just a variation of it. And that's kind of my way of targeting both phrases, WordPress SEO consulting and WordPress SEO consultant. I use consulting in the permalink, and then I use consultant in things like the SEO title and meta description. This page has 0 no-follow links and 2 normal outbound links. So I'm just going to cover internal and external linking. Internal links are where you link to a page or post on your website in your content body. Outbound links are where you link to another website or another page that is not yours. You do want to include a couple links on your page, and those should really just be useful for your visitors. So if I have a page on WordPress SEO Consulting, I might link to Yoast SEO plugin, I might link to Google's Search Engine Optimization Guide, I might link to my free SEO workbook. It really depends on what people would find the most value, but that is the gist of internal linking. I prefer internal links because it keeps people on my site instead of linking to other people's websites, but there is a fine balance. If you're just linking to all your stuff, then Google really doesn't, it's a little biased. You should reference some other websites because those are kind of like sources if you're writing, an article or something. But that's links in a nutshell. In the specify meta description, how does it compare to the competition? I already went over that. Just make sure your meta description includes your keyword or a variation of it and reads well. You've never used this focus keyword before. Very good. Do not create multiple pages for the same keyword. I know a lot of people try to do that. You're better off, if you want to rank for that keyword, first of all, make sure it's within your competition. I went over the keyword competition a little bit. First, make sure it's not too competitive, and also improve the content for one page or blog post, whatever you're targeting that keyword on. You're better off improving the content for one page than creating a bunch of mediocre pages targeting all the same keyword. It's just redundant, it's a waste of time, and if I'm trying to rank for Yoast SEO plugin settings, I'm just going to write one damn good article about that, and what do you know, I did, and at one point it was getting like 100 visitors a day just through that blog post. So you're better off improving the content for that one keyword rather than a bunch of pages. The SEO title contains the focus keyword at the beginning, which is considered to improve rankings. So generally, you want your keyword to appear first in your SEO title. I don't always do this. It really depends if I'm writing an article and I want to make it sound better. But generally speaking, including your keyword in the beginning is preferred. The page title has a nice length. Meta description contains the focus keyword. The text contains 562 words, which is, a good amount. Regarding that, length is strength in SEO. So if you create a bunch of thin pages, they call it, basically content with no value, you just add a page title, use the keyword in your permalink, write a meta description, put like 2 paragraphs in the content and you expect to rank high, it's not going to happen. You really need to spend some time designing your pages, do some research, find out what the top results are doing, and just make your content better. And length is strength in SEO. So it makes sense since I mentioned time on page as a huge factor. So if people have a plethora of organized information they can look through, they're going to spend more time on your page than just 2 paragraphs. And that's why length is strength when it comes to SEO. So you want to, make sure you spend some time on your content. That's the biggest thing. So the social media optimization, first of all, I would ignore this readability thing. I never use this. But I do use that social media tab right here. It looks like I didn't on this page, which my mistake, I should have. But this is where if this page is shared on Facebook, I can set the thumbnail that appears as that thumbnail image. So for example, if we just go to Facebook, and we'll run a test right here, and I grab the URL for this page, and let's say someone wants to share this page on Facebook. You don't need to see any of that. I have nothing to hide though. So this is the image that's going to be set. So by upload, you can see either it's not loading or something's going wrong with it. You can see that by uploading a custom graphic for Facebook, which should be 1200 by 630 pixels, you can actually set that image so it formats properly when it's shared on Facebook. And this is especially helpful. Not only is it a ranking factor, but if people share your content, you want those images to format properly. So again, my mistake, I should have done this, but it happens that I didn't for this page. Same thing on Twitter. If people share a piece of content on Twitter, you want to upload a custom image that is 1024 by 512 pixels. Again, you can't just grab any image. You want to make sure that you create a custom image for these, so with these dimensions. So that is Yoast in a nutshell. What do we got? Improve content optimization through Yoast videos, design, on-page SEO. One last thing I want to cover about content optimization. Backlinko, if you just Google on-page SEO, they have a great article on creating the perfectly optimized page. I went over a lot of this, but they have an infographic on here that I wish I created because it is awesome. That's why they're ranked. Yeah, I mean, why do you think they're ranked #1? This infographic is amazing. People probably share this a ton. So that just goes to show you that if you're creating like a blog post targeting a keyword you want to rank for, infographics are amazing. So like I said, I already went over a lot of this, but I'll just touch on it just so you can get an idea. Start your title tag with the keyword. Leverage SEO-friendly URLs, add modifiers to your title. So like I said, if we Google Chicago wedding photographer, everyone's going to use that in their title tag. So a modifier, you can see Chicago wedding photographers in Chicago, award-winning team of Chicago wedding photographers. Award-winning would be the modifier. So you want to include some sort of like adjective to make you stand out in search results, so it's not just your keyword, your site name, because that's kind of boring. Wrap your title in the H1, dazzle with multimedia, like I said, videos and infographics all the way. Wrap subheadings and H2 tags. If your keyword's short, like on-page SEO, this guy targets a really competitive keyword. But if you are trying to rank for that, then you can use it, in your H2 tags. But if it's a long phrase like Chicago wedding photographer, you wouldn't just keep using it in your H2s or your subheadings. You would just include it in the H1 page title and your content body and all the other places that I went over in Yoast. Drop your keyword in the first 100 words. I went over that. It doesn't have to be an exact match. It can be a variation. Responsive design. You want to make sure you use a responsive, SEO-friendly WordPress theme. So I'll cover this later, but I would definitely recommend StudioPress. It's what I use on all my websites for themes, and they're basically the industry standard. It's what Yoast recommends. It's what Matt Cutts from Google recommends. Definitely check out StudioPress because all their themes have super clean code, lightweight, SEO-friendly, good security, blah, blah, blah. Use outbound links. I covered that. For relevancy, it's good. Internal links, 2 to 3 they recommend. I just say however many you think is useful for your visitor. Site speed, sprinkle LSI keywords, which are synonyms. Image optimization, so like I said, upload the image with the keyword or however that image is described before you upload it to WordPress. And then WordPress should automatically set the alt text as the keyword, at least in the visual editor. You may have to specify it in things like widgets. Use social sharing buttons so people can share it more. Post long content, I already said length is strength. Dwell time. There we go. So Backlinko has a great guide on on-page SEO if you want to read about it. I'll leave a link in the YouTube description, but all you have to do is Google on-page SEO, and that's about it. Improve website design, structure, and internal linking. So I kind of already went over this, but I just want to emphasize that if you have a really bad looking website, spend some time and hire a designer. You can hire someone on Upwork.com or Freelancer.com, to improve it. You can hire someone. I paid a guy throughout the years. I paid him $20,000. And he's done all my websites. He's amazing. I'll leave a link to his profile in the video description. His name's Proyana. He's from Bangladesh. He has $25 an hour. But the point is that don't let, Chicago pricing website designs can be super expensive, but you can hire someone in a different country for super cheap and still get good quality. So like I said, I'll leave a link in the YouTube description to his profile if you want to use them, but definitely make sure you invest in your website design. Structure, I'm talking about like permalinks. Just follow the, you can play around with your settings. One thing I do want to mention is if you go to settings, permalinks, do make sure that you don't have the plain set. If your pages are showing up as $P1, that's just a bad format. You want a post name as a great format, so that'll just make sure that WordPress defaults your permalinks to the post name, which in this case would be WordPress SEO Consulting instead of P123 blah blah blah, which is terrible formatting. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is optimize the website to load faster. So I did mention the developer that I work with, he also does speed optimization. If you go on my work page, you can see he optimized multiple websites to load in, like this one, 7.32 seconds to 1 second. He reduced 13 seconds off this GTmetrix report. 0.81 seconds, 1.44. So he's gotten great results. Here's 2.48 from 11.19. My website loads, I think, in around like 0.8 seconds, something like that. But you can see just by clicking through my pages, it loads instantly. And this one loads just as fast. Usually. Maybe a little slower, but it loads very quickly. So I'm going to be this is pretty technical, and that's why I referred the speed optimization guy, because I will show you step by step everything that needs to be done, but it can get a little technical and it can take quite a bit of time. So if you just want to outsource that, I left his profile link in the YouTube video description, but I'll just get right into it. So if you go to my guide, and I'll leave another link to this one, and go to WordPress Speed. This tutorial has gotten 125 comments, so a lot of people have had great success with it. I think people have gotten, hola Tom, muchas gracias, absolutely the best WordPress tutorial out there on the web. Speed 1.2 seconds, GTmetrix speed 80, Y slow 91. Problem is, remove query strings. Isn't it always? So, this guide outlines everything you need to do. It's very extensive, but like I said, it will take a lot of time, and I'll just touch on it really quickly. So the first thing you want to do is run your website through GTmetrix. So I'll just do this one right here. And GTmetrix is the speed testing tool that I recommend. Pingdom and other ones and Google's speed test are okay, but from my experience, this one gives you the most specific recommendations. And yeah, there it is. So sometimes I can get like 0.5 depending on the day, but today I got 1 second, which is still pretty good. So we'll just scroll down, and I'll just go over a few things that you may see in your GTmetrix report. Obviously, look for the the scores right here that aren't in the green, and then you can expand the item to see what needs to be fixed. So serve scaled images means we need to resize an image to be a little smaller. And I'll go into more depth in a little bit. Defer parsing of JavaScript, we're going to add a line of code, I believe, in your header. Leverage browser caching, we're going to install a cache plugin. I recommend WP Fastest Cache or W3 Total Cache or WP Super Cache. Specify a cache validator will be included in your cache plugin, and minify CSS, HTML, minify JavaScript will be done through Cloudflare. Optimize images, this one means losslessly compress images. So image optimization all can be broken down into 3 items: serve scaled images, optimize images, and specify image dimensions, which is right here. So specify image dimensions just means we need to specify width and height in the HTML or CSS, which I'll show you how to do. Optimize images, will losslessly compress them. I recommend Imagify, which is it basically is free up into a certain limit, and then you have to pay for it. But those plugins that aren't free are a little sketchy and they might break your images, so I would definitely recommend either Imagify or Kraken. And serve scaled images just means we need to resize them to the correct dimensions. But that, that's a good start. So I'm just going to go through this tutorial really quickly. Get your GTmetrix report. Upgrade your shared hosting. So if you're on a really cheap $3.95 a month shared hosting plan, hosting is the #1 thing WordPress recommends in their optimization guide. Here it is. Shared hosting, you're basically sharing servers with hundreds of other websites, and it's not efficient. So it's not going to give you the performance that like semi-dedicated, dedicated cloud hosting or VPS would. And it's really not expensive. I'm with SiteGround on all my websites, and like I said, they load in less than a second. Their startup plan is $3.95 a month, and I could do a whole review about this. But SiteGround is awesome. They have great reviews around the web, great support, and their speed is amazing. And all you really have to know is as you upgrade plans, you're going to get more server resources. And those server resources is what makes your hosting, that's what makes your website load faster. So startup, you have the least amount of server resources. Grow big, you have about 2 times more, and GoGeek is considered semi-dedicated hosting, which is about 3 times more server resources than startup. So GoGeek is definitely the fastest, unless you're using like cloud hosting, which is $60 a month. But I would definitely recommend one of these plans. If you're with HostGator or Bluehost or GoDaddy, I've been through all of those guys, and I've gotten internal server errors. I was never able to get a great load time. Uptimes weren't that great. So I did include a link in the YouTube description to SiteGround's plans. It's an affiliate link. If you do sign up, I would really appreciate that. It's going straight to student loans. But fast hosting is the #1 thing WordPress recommends in their optimization guide. Delete unused plugins. So all you want to do is go to your plugins menu, and then you're going to want to deactivate and delete all your unused plugins. So any plugins you don't use, you can see active. I don't have any deactive plugins, but if you do, you'll see an inactive tab right here. And you really just want to try and minimize these. So if you're not using it, don't just deactivate it, make sure you fully delete it. And I would go through this with your developer and try to minimize as many as you can. So for example, we have an XML sitemap in Yoast, which I went over, right here. So we don't need like the Google XML sitemap plugin. You can delete the Hello Dolly plugin, which comes with every website and is useless. If you see like WordPress importer, you can delete that. if you have like a Facebook or Twitter widget, you can grab the code and paste it into your widget section. So you're using just a line of code instead of an all-out plugin for that. Like I said, insert the Google Analytics code in the footer instead of using a plugin for that. And just try to minimize the amount of plugins you're using. So not only do we want to delete all the plugins we don't use, but we want to find our slowest loading plugins. And the way to do that is you would install the P3 Plugin Performance Profiler plugin. And when you do, it'll show up here, and you're going to see an option to scan now, auto scan. And what that's going to do is show you your slowest loading plugins in a graph. And if you don't use a plugin at certain times, like broken link checker, I installed the plugin, I fixed all my broken links, and now I'm not using it. So then you can delete it. Same thing with P3 Plugin Performance Profiler. Once I'm done and I know all my slowest loading plugins, I have no more use for this and I can delete it. But the main thing is that to look at your slowest loading plugins and try to find alternative lightweight plugins. So for example, social media sharing plugins can be very heavy. So can commenting plugins, live chat plugins, event and calendar, slider plugins like Revolution Slider, Jetpack is a big one. I would stay away from Jetpack. But here is one example of how you can improve your load time. If you see Revolution Slider on there, look for a more lightweight slider plugin. And if you do your research, the Soliloquy slider, I think it costs like $19, but it's super lightweight. It barely will affect your load time, if any, and it's a good slider plugin, and it's super easy. I've used it. So unless you need like tons of like built-in functionality that Revolution Slider has, I would just go with Soliloquy. But that's the kind of thing I mean when replacing heavy plugins with lightweight plugins. So configure W3 total cache. There's multiple cache plugins out there. If you're not that technical, I would start with WP fastest cache since it's super easy to set up. I will include a link in the description with these settings. But this can actually improve your load time by multiple seconds. It will take care of the minifies, or actually Cloudflare would, never mind. It'll take care of the browser caching and probably a couple other things. But go to this, and it's really easy. Right here I tested multiple cache plugins. WP fastest cache I got 0.5 seconds. W3 total cache I got 0.9. WP super cache I got 1.1. You don't really know which cache plugin you're going to get the best results with until you test it out. But WP fastest cache is super easy. All you do is, let's see, go to your plugins menu. We'll delete some of this stuff. So just go to your plugins menu and add WP fastest cache. So when you do, you're going to see this right here. Click that, and then you can just copy the same settings I use. Once you do that, you're going to go to delete cache, click this button, and then it's that easy. Then you're going to set up a content delivery network. So this is a paid service. It's going to be $9 a month for most websites. It's $6.75 a month if you use my coupon in the video description. But a content delivery network, it basically mirrors your website on multiple servers around the country and world. And so if my one server is located in Chicago, but someone from Europe is trying to access it, then it's going to take a long time for that content to travel. But if I have a CDN where there's a location by Europe, it's going to deliver my content from the closest server. And that'll potentially shave seconds off your load time. So if you have visitors, especially who are far away from your origin server, then a content delivery network can shave seconds off your load time. And like I said, I included a coupon link in the video description that will give you 25% off your plan. So back to the WP fastest cache settings tutorial. Then all you have to do is once you click that cache timeout, you don't need to tweak any of the other settings. Sign up for Max CDN, and what you're going to want to do is in Max CDN you're going to go to Zones, Create Pull Zone. So once you sign up, you're going to get to a dashboard, and you're going to click that Zones tab and create Pull Zone. Fill in the pull zone name with your site name right here, and then your origin server URL right here, and your label. Then you'll get to this. You'll see the CDN URL and the origin URL. All you need to do is copy and paste those into WP fastest cache settings. So right now I already set it up, so all I have is a check mark, but if you haven't set it up, that's where you would do it. And then leave all file types selected. And if you retest your site in GTmetrix, you'll see Content Delivery Network should at least be green. So that's just WP fastest cache. I did write a tutorial on W3 total cache, which has much more settings than WP fastest cache, like way more. But it can, a lot of people use it. It is a great plugin. I use it on this website, and it loads very quickly. But I do have a tutorial on W3 total cache right here. It also shows you how to set up Cloudflare and Max CDN, because it integrates differently. But yeah, refer to this tutorial if you're doing W3 total cache. I don't have a tutorial on WP super cache, but there are a lot of good ones out there. So the next step is to configure Cloudflare. Just use that tutorial. Max CDN, use that tutorial. I also did create a video right here if you want video instructions. Optimize images, like I said, you can break that down into serve scaled images, lossless compression, and specify image dimensions. So GTmetrix will tell you the images that need to be resized if you click this tab, but only for that page. So my recommendation is to look at the serve scaled images or optimize images, whatever, and look for images that appear on multiple pages, like your logo or images in your sidebar right here or in your footer. Because by improving images on multiple pages, you're also improving the load time for multiple pages. And a good little trick is, even though GTmetrix will tell you which images need to be resized and the correct dimensions, by the way, all you would do is resize it, re-upload the image, and then replace it with the correct dimensions. But you can always right-click and copy image address, and then paste it, and if that image is larger than the image you see here, then that means it needs to be resized. So that's serve scaled images. Now I'm going to be going over specify image dimensions, which you'll see right here. So all this means is that you need to specify a width and height in the HTML or CSS, and GTmetrix will tell you the specified width and height. So the WordPress visual editor will automatically take care of this, so you'll usually see this in things like your sidebar widgets. But if you go to your widgets, all that means is that I specify a width and height in the HTML, like this. So just correct those. And the last image optimization item is optimize images. All you need to do is install the Imagify plugin, and then go to their website and sign up for an account. And when you do sign up for Imagify, you're going to see something will prompt you right here to ask for an API key. All you do is sign up for the account, go to your account, and then there'll be a tab where you grab your API key right here, and then you enter it in the Imagify settings in WordPress to confirm your account. Once you do that, they do have settings right here, which you can play around with. They have these. You can tweak these, but these are my settings. But you will go to Media Bulk Optimization. And from here, you can just click this tab. You can set your compression level as normal, aggressive, or ultra. I just have it as aggressive. And Imagify them all. I would take a backup before you do this, just in case of your website. But this is definitely one of the best, if not the best, lossless compression plugins. But like I said, you have a limited amount of space, so you can either wait till the next month until it refreshes and resets your thing, or you can pay for their service, which is pretty inexpensive. But it's worth it, not breaking all of the images on your site like a free plugin might do. So that's optimize images. Minimize redirects is basically if you change the www version of your website and you need to change all your links to that, you can use the Better Search and Replace plugin, but you basically need to correct all your links to the correct version of your website. Use a lightweight social sharing plugin, same thing as I mentioned before, just use lightweight plugins. Defer parsing of JavaScript, you would back up your functions.php file, then add this code in there. Add expires headers, you would add this code to the top of your .ht access. And like I said, you can refer to this tutorial if you want to grab that code. Remove query strings from static resources is one I've really never been able to figure out. There's a plugin that helps with this, and it has pretty good reviews, but a lot of people say that it doesn't work. So I honestly have no answer for that right now. Run WP Optimize to delete garbage files. This will delete your post revisions, your spam folder, your trash folder, pingbacks, basically a bunch of junk. All you need to do is install the plugin, and on the left you'll see WP Optimize, and then you'll just run it with the default settings. The uncheck force rewrite titles in Yoast, I mentioned that previously. Add this code or replace it in your header.php instead of using the force rewrite titles. Make sure your WordPress software is updated. WordPress heartbeat control, the WordPress has an API. It can slow down your site a little bit, but this plugin helps take control of that. It's very easy to set up. All you do is install the plugin, go to settings, heartbeat control, and change overwrite heartbeat frequency to 60 seconds. Disable trackbacks and pingbacks under settings discussion. This can, it's a very small difference, but everything helps. Don't use a Google map in your footer. The rest of these won't make that big of a difference. Lazy load your pages. So if you go to a page, instead of loading everything at once, lazy loading means it will load as you scroll down the page. So that will reduce the initial load time of your page, but it will have to load as you scroll down. There's a lazy load plugin for your entire page, and then there's a lazy load plugin for videos only, which can take up a lot of resources. So it's really preference on if you want to use that. I don't, but it will help with your load time, at least the initial load time. Last but not least, here is my freelancer guy who, he's $25 an hour now, but he's definitely worth it. Probably like 10 hours with him, and he can make a substantial difference to your website. Links in the video description, and that is WordPress speed optimization. Alright, so the next step is to rank higher in Google Maps. Google Maps actually has their own ranking factors. So if you Google local search ranking factors, Moz does a study every 2 years on the ranking factors. So this is for local SEO. And you can see this gives a nice pie chart, and it's basically divided into localized organic. So if we Google Chicago wedding photographers, localized organic are these results right here. The local stack snack pack factors are these results right here. So if you Google your keywords and you see the local stack snack pack results are there for the majority of your keywords, then you probably want to target those. And they have specific ranking factors depending on whether you want to target localized organic or the local stack snack pack. And then these are just a combination of everything just for, to give you an idea. But this consists of Google My Business, so you definitely want a Google My Business page, one per location. External local signals, internet yellow pages, NAP stands for business name, address, phone. That's a huge thing. So profiles like Facebook, Yelp, Google My Business, Yellow Pages, Kudzu, all those mentions of your business name or those profiles are called citations. And those citations need to be consistent, especially the NAP, business name, address, phone. That's huge. In fact, that's like, consistency of structured citations. NAP consistency is the number 2 ranking factor in the local stack snack pack results. So that is NAP, and that's what a citation is, are those online mentions of your business name like Yelp, Facebook, and all that. On-page SEO, I already went over for the most part. Content optimization, learning your keywords, creating content for your phrases, presence of NAP. I would list your address in the footer of your website or at least on your contact page. Preferably the footer because that's on every page and Google can understand that. If you have multiple locations though, then each of your geo-targeted pages, so say you have one page targeting Chicago and one page targeting like Springfield, you would have a separate page on your website for each location. Sometimes even 2 if there's multiple keywords people are searching in those locations. But the point is, on those geo-targeted landing pages, you should list your business name, address, phone specific to that location. Keywords and titles, domain authority, basically just do everything I want in Yoast. Link signals, you want links to your website. The best thing you can do to do that is create content and videos and infographics and stuff like that. Reviews. The most important place to get reviews is Google My Business, which is the stuff that shows up right here. So these are the Google My Business reviews. You need about 5 of them to get those review stars showing up in search results. But if you see people have like 47 of them, you should try to get as many of your competitors, because a lot of people, use that to make a decision who they're going to call or contact. Social signals, how many times your page is shared on social media. Click-through rates, like I said, out of all the people searching that keyword, how many people are clicking on your link and not everyone else's. So like I said, improving your SEO title right here, and your meta description is the way you would improve click-through rates. But I do want to cover the local stack and snack pack factors. First of all, you do need a physical address in the city you're targeting. If you don't, it's going to be you're going to have a huge disadvantage, and while you can still do it, it is the number 1 ranking factor, so ideally you would have a physical address that you can list. And keep in mind, business name, address, and phone is also NAP consistency, the number 2 ranking factor. You do want to list an address in all those. So yes, you should have a physical address in your location. Proper Google My Business categories. When you create your Google My Business page, make sure you list your primary category listed first and any other secondary categories listed second. But you do want to list all relevant categories. Proximity of address, you can't really control that. quality authority of structured citations. I'm going to go over citations in a little bit, but that you can break that down into A, Google My Business. Make sure your profile is 100% complete, verified, you've uploaded all your photos, you wrote a unique description, you got a custom URL, maybe you got a virtual tour, if it makes sense. But start with Google My Business and make sure that profile is 100% complete. B, you want to then do Moz Local. So Moz Local will analyze your top 15 citations, including Yelp, Facebook, Google My Business, and it will tell you if your profiles are inconsistent, incomplete, or you have duplicates. And it's really self-explanatory. All you do is run your website through there. Moz Local has direct links to your profiles where you can update them, but you will need the logins to those profiles, but it is super easy. In fact, I'll show you right now how easy it is. All you do is go to Moz Local, type in your business name, zip code, click your business name right here, and then your job is to improve your score as much as you can. And you do that by, if you don't have one of these profiles, you should create one. Incomplete profile, so sometimes you need to list more, you need to add more photos or add more categories. You will see red dots that shows you what to do though. If your profiles are inconsistent, like you use the wrong www version of your website name, or you listed your name is inconsistent, or your phone, any of that, Moz Local will tell you what you need to fix. Duplicates, if you have any duplicates, you just go to this and try to get that profile removed. But your job is to get your Moz Local score as high as you can. And then from there, the last part about citations is that after you've done Google My Business, which is your most important citation, Moz Local, which analyzes your top 15 citations, then it really is time consuming on building more of them, but since they're the number 2 and number 5 ranking factor, you do want to get more of these citations. And that's exactly what WhiteSpark does. They're a citation builder, a citation building service. So if you want to do it yourself, you can go to their resources page and they have a list of the top citations by country, city, and category. But I always outsource, I always let them do it. They have a service that they will analyze your citations and build new ones. So if you just click citation building right here, and it's only $4 to $5 per citation, which is really cheap. So if you order, 100 of these, it's going to be about $450. That is great considering how important citations are. So I would definitely recommend WhiteSpark's citation building service if you're looking to rank higher in Google Maps. All their citations are manually built, so like a company like Yoast, you're basically paying an ongoing fee to keep them consistent, so you're basically renting them. WhiteSpark is a one-time fee for $4 to $5, and all their citations are manually built, and they have a whole team behind them. They have great reviews. If you Google WhiteSpark Canada, you can see they have 116 reviews, 4.9 stars. All you have to do is when you order citations, you basically fill out an intake, upload it to them, and they have some additional options here. But that is WhiteSpark in a nutshell. The one thing I do want to point out is after these citations are built, you may get some spam through your contact form and even your phone number that you list. So it's inevitable. These citations are free for a reason. They will improve your rankings, most likely. Obviously no guarantees, but they are a huge part of Google Maps. And I trust WhiteSpark. My order history, I've invested over $2,000 in them. So I'm not just, speaking out of my butt. I actually use them quite a bit. I did include an affiliate link in the video description if you decide to use WhiteSpark. I would appreciate it if you use that. If not, it's cool too. But those are citations in a nutshell. So domain authority of website, you can kind of just go through these, but I did list the core factors of Google Maps, and you can go through the local organic factors. One thing I want to point out, when creating your geo-targeted landing pages, you don't want to just create a bunch of duplicate pages and then replace the city names and call it a day. You want to have unique content for each page. And that goes for any page. But you may think it's easy if you want to target Chicago and Springfield. Well, I'll just duplicate the page and replace Chicago with Springfield everywhere on the page. It doesn't work like that. Those are called search and replace pages, and they're considered duplicate content. You want to have unique photos. You want to have the unique business name, address, phone listed on each page. You want to create a completely unique for each page if you're targeting multiple locations. So that is local SEO in a nutshell. I'm going to go over Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Thanks for sticking through me so far. Hope you're learning a lot. So Google Search Console. We already set that up in Yoast Webmaster Tools, so ideally it would take maybe like 5 to 7 days to populate with data. If it hasn't populated yet, you're going to need to wait and come back to this video to go over it. But I did create a tutorial about this that covers quite a bit of things in Google Search Console. So it shows you how to verify it. We already did that. It shows you how to submit your XML sitemap to Google, and we can actually, you can follow the instructions here. But this shows you how to submit your sitemap. All you would do is go to the sitemaps, click the XML sitemap button, copy the last part of your of the URL right here, and then submit it in Google Search Console under crawl sitemaps. And by the way, to get to Google Search Console, all you have to do is Google it, go here, and then select the profile, and you'll see Google will tell you if if it has data or not, but you should see some data right here. So this is where you would go and find all these tabs, but these are the main things you need to do. So crawl errors, if you go to crawl errors right here, these are the same thing that you see in where is it? SEO Search Console. So these are the same things that you will see here. I'm on different websites, so they're different, but these are the redirects that I explained how you need to set up a redirect to redesign this to the correct page. That is crawl errors. You can use a 301 redirect plugin like Quick Page Post Redirect. It's as simple as adding the old URL here and adding the new one here. But that's how you can create one redirect. But definitely go through the crawl errors and make sure you fix all those. The HTML improvements tell you if you have title tags and meta descriptions that are too short, long, or duplicates. So HTML improvements would be here. We didn't detect any. But if you do, you can see duplicate meta descriptions. All you would do is click on that. And like I said, in Yoast, you would just go to that page. I'm just doing this as an example. But remember, the meta descriptions are here and the title tags are right here. So in Google Search Console, you'll see which pages have duplicate meta descriptions and title tags, and you basically just want to make those unique to that page so they're not duplicates. Alright. International targeting. If we go to international targeting right here, if you're targeting a specific country, you can specify that right here. Target users in the United States. I leave mine international. It's not going to completely remove everyone outside of the United States, but it's just one signal that tells Google, hey, I'm targeting people in the US. Mobile usability. So the Google's mobile testing tool only shows mobile errors for one page, while Google Search Console mobile usability shows errors for all pages on your website. So I would check with if you have mobile issues, I would check with your developer and see if they can fix those. Manual actions show if you have a penalty. Search analytics. Google Analytics doesn't show you this data actually. They prevent some data like keywords and everything. You're not going to find a lot of that in Google Analytics. But Google Search Console will tell you all the keywords that you rank for. And not only that, it'll tell you things like CTR, click-through rate, and position. So if I see I just launched this website, so I'm probably not going to rank high for a lot of things. But if I see I'm ranking, number 4 for a keyword, but I have a low click-through rate, that means that while I'm ranking high, not a lot of people are clicking on my link. And that's where you want to optimize your SEO titles and meta descriptions so they're more enticing to click on. But you can get a lot of data in the search analytics section. It's a lot more effective measuring actual keyword reports than Google Analytics. Google Analytics is more about tracking website traffic. Search Console is more about improving your website through SEO, and Search Analytics is definitely a good part of that. So we went over crawl errors, we went over the sitemaps, you can see security issues, HTML improvements. Rich cards are, so if you ever Google mashed potatoes recipes and see these review stars right here, that is what rich snippets are. So they basically add extra information in search results. And this can be event information. You can do this with recipes, reviews, and a lot of other types of markup. So if you're interested in those, I wrote a review of the WP Rich Snippets plugin. I included a link in the video description. Sorry, I'm all over the board. But this is the plugin that you can use to add rich snippets to your website. It's the one I use. So basically, it shows you what it looks like. You know, here's a rich snippets one. Here's a boring one. Here's what it looks like on the page. And it has a ton of features. So it supports rich snippets for articles, reviews, products, organizations, a lot of stuff. And it has tons of add-ons, a lot. So that, and you can do user reviews too. So that is a whole another can of worms, but I will I will leave the link in the YouTube video description to this review, and I'll also leave a link to the WP Rich Snippets plugin, but that is the one I would use to add rich snippets to your website. Alright, that is Google Search Console in a nutshell. The last thing I want to go over is Google Analytics. If you go to Google Analytics custom dashboards, first of all, I'll kind of assume you already have Google Analytics installed. If you don't, just go to Google Analytics, sign up, It's pretty easy, just fill in all your information and then go into WordPress and look for your footer. So in my website, it would be under theme settings, I believe. Yep, and here's my header scripts, here's my footer scripts. I would just paste the tracking code right there and save it. But just like Google Search Console, it will take some time for Google Analytics to populate. So, but that's how you do it. Try to avoid using a plugin. Once you have Google Analytics verified, I'll show you a few cool little tricks you can do. The first thing you want to do is filter your employee IP addresses. So every time I access my website, it's going to pollute the data in Google Analytics. So what you want to do is go to your admin menu, go to filters, add a filter, create a new filter. I'll enlarge this a little bit so you can see. Go to exclude traffic from the IP addresses, and then you can just Google what's my IP address and enter it right here. But that will prevent your data from getting polluted by your own website visits. But I would definitely go through these settings right here and learn about them. Google Analytics is a huge program. One easy thing you can do is Google Analytics custom dashboards, and here's my link. And this will basically segment your traffic into how people found your website, social networks referring the most traffic, referral websites, SEO visitors, SEO analytics, search engines used to find your website. It's got a lot of really good data. So you can literally just click this button right here and then import this dashboard directly into your account, and you will see this data for your website. So there's the general analytics dashboard that I just imported. So this will be the data for your website. Obviously this is someone else's. It's a pretty low traffic website. But I have dashboards for SEO analytics, social media analytics, shows you which social networks are sending the most traffic, geography, where people are visiting your website, mobile analytics, what % of your visitors are mobile, mobile devices used, entrances and exits, technical dashboard, a lot of really cool stuff there. So I haven't wrote the workbook with Google Analytics yet, but I am in the middle of that. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, I will release it there, and I can send you an email, or basically subscribe to my newsletter if you want the Google Analytics section. But that's, I covered a ton of tools, though I already covered the main tools that you need. That is WordPress SEO in a nutshell. I know it's a ton of stuff. Would love to hear your feedback. If you have any questions, leave me a comment in the comments section. If you need any personalized help, I do SEO consulting, but I did list as much as I can in this video and in this SEO workbook right here, 180 pages. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah, comment on the video if you guys have any questions. Thanks.